Yes, you're oneness. This is Shofar from Shō Energy Work and Shō HEALth, and I'm here to speak to you today about the revision of reality, seeing beyond the eyes. The purpose of this video is because as we step into 2023, or at least we're told that by the Gregorian calendar, but what if you don't prescribe to the religion of Christianity? So what year is it for you? Because that is dealing with the so-called birth and death of the revolutionary known as Jesus, aka Yahoshua or Yahshua. So what year is it for those of us who don't prescribe to that belief system? So instead of calling it 2023, myself, I'm going to be reprogramming my own mind, my own being. I'm going to call it 200,023 or 200K 23. So, but anyway, we get into that some. Many of us, we set New Year's resolutions. Anytime we see that RE, that lets us know about the awareness of Ra, RE, Ray, or Re, or Ra. So a Ray solution or re-solution, and then the word soul has soul, S-O-L in it. It's letting us know double there that there's awareness and shining a light into things. So as we step into the new year, 200K 23, we're going to look to have a revision of reality itself, seeing beyond the eyes.
Upload is what you're sending out. Because just like the eye, it was proven that the eye is not taking in information. The eye sends out a beam, right? That beam that comes from the eye looks for things that it's familiar with and collects it back based on what it is vibrating on. Because just like when they say that the indigenous people stood on the shore, they didn't see those people, the pilgrims coming to peel their wigs, to get peeled. They didn't see the colonizers. They couldn't recognize them because they never seen nothing like that. And sometimes if you don't see something, you don't recognize it. You can't recognize it because you never saw it before. So as they looked out on the ocean, all they saw was some kind of foggy information in this energy, and they didn't know.
I think some stars shine light, which we see a very small spectrum of. Most of them go unseen and can go through solid matter, right? The other type of star, and this is something, again, one of the purposes of this video is to help you repurpose and re-innovate your own thinking, right? And reinvent yourself. So another type of star that I want you to maybe think about is a planet. I know most of the time we don't think of it that way, but I want you to think down deep to the core of Mother Heart, Mother Earth, Mother Heart. You think about at the core what we've been told is that there's this iron core, and it's very hot and spinning and everything, right? And you have all this magma and everything around it. All this matter and magma. Notice how the word magma has ma in it as well. And we're told that that iron core, that iron orb, sends out a frequency or has magnetism to it, right? I believe that's part of what this force that we call gravity is. But with that being said, I think that a planet such as our planet Heart or Earth, I think that what it shines is a type of energy that we call in our tongue matter. So I'm gonna say that again. A star like the sun or otherwise, Sirius or whatever, they shine light. A planet like planet Heart shines matter, which ultimately is also light, ultimately is also energy. How is that practical? How is that? That sounds good, and we can shoot the shit on all of that at different times, right? Different theories, different ideas about these things. How do we take these lofty things though and make it practical for you to change who you are and make you have a better life? Because sometimes we can't see new solutions that may be right in front of us.
Sometimes I get up and I see these squares. Sometimes I get up and I see these hexagons. I've seen these before over here. So all that's happening is, let's say it's like, you know how they let you wear that thing when you go and do your glasses, right? They go and try to figure out how, what, if you're farsighted or nearsighted. And there's that big thing in front of the face and they keep moving it, right? And it's different magnifications. That's what this is. And it's already on your third eye. Your third eye has literally like a rotating field. That the interesting thing about these geometries, and I want to be very specific here, is that these geometries allow you to perceive certain things. When you layer, because you're basically spraying a web on everything. That's how you're perceiving reality right now.
And like the brother Savan Bomar was just saying, is supposedly over our third eyes, over our this other part of our being that makes us actually form this reality. If, like Dr. B was saying in the first video, if we're not only receiving light in, but we're also beaming or being. Notice how the word beam and beam, being and beaming light out, matter out of us, and forming a collective reality. Is not like just one projector, though. If you close your eyes, this doesn't end, right? It's because we're all projecting it together. But like Seven was saying, we have a certain lens over things, and he was saying, I believe that we're in the one that has the square, the right angles, which would make sense, because if you take 4 right angles, that makes 360, which is a circle, right? But it still makes us in form either a round or a square or lines. And then when you do different journeys, you start to see other things. When you have high level orgasm, sensual emotional exchange, when you do deep tantric or breath work, you start to see an expansion. You see things differently, both literally and figuratively. And so it changes the lens on the third eyes. When you hear people, what is formed, the pictures that are formed is different now, because your third eye has been attuned. Notice how the word tune and tone are very similar. Your third eye has been now tuned or toned to something new.
And you talk about flow. Artists are very aware of flow state. You get in a flow and it's like time just goes by and you don't know what happened. I'm a little confused when they say you have to be present, you have to be in the now. It's hard to be in the now and in the present when you're in a flow state, because you're possessed and it's like you're not even there. So how can you be in the present and be aware of your surroundings when I'm in the flow? I'm not there. Something takes over, Brother Rich, and when it's gone, I'm like, oh shit, I said that, yo. I asked that question. I made that song. I made that beat. I'm there. How in the now if I'm not even there, Doc? Please answer me that.
Brother, I love you. I want you to know that.
Love.
You have asked the question that I have been waiting to be asked.
Wow.
For 40 years.
Wow, that's wow.
No one has ever asked this one question. How do you be in the present but be nowhere? It's because if you're in the present, you are nowhere. If you have to think and figure things out, you're in the past. You're being intelligent. You're basing your movements and everything based on what has already happened.
So like Dr. B was saying in that last video, it's like the word, I love the question that Rich, aka Black Magic, asked him. And, how do you be in the flow state and also be in the now? Because in the flow state, in other words, you're not thinking about things, right? And it's one of those things that I think Sadhguru had spoke about, saying that, people will tell you, oh, just be in the now. And it's like you wash the dishes and you don't do anything else. But that's being very like almost going into the world of an amoeba or something very simple, right? And I think it's a very good practice, a very good way to start off things is to whatever you're doing, be there as you do your deeper work with your asanas and yoga or your breath work, you know, uh, journey with certain plant medicines with respect, right? Um, or your different Taoist or tantric work that, with around sensuality and emotionality to expand your consciousness, that SEX, right? You will find that your awareness system will begin to expand naturally without you having to think about it. So in other words, you'll be in the flow state and having more and more vast expansion of consciousness as you do different normal mundane things. And so if you look at the word know, K-N-O-W, if you take off the K, is now. So in other words, in order to know something, we have to be in the now. In order to have a re-solution, we have to let go of the old solutions. Those are the things that we have known, but we have to be in the now with an expanded consciousness. That's the thing. It can't be the same awareness over and over again, the same path that we've already treaded. It has to be a dropping of the things that have already been put in front of us in the old memories and being in the now. So K-N-O-W. Think about if you take off the K and you take off, now you take off the W, we have the word no. No, no thing. Back to what is no thing? That is no matter, no energy, no anything. It's going back into the mother. A deep thing about the word no too, if you look in ancient Kemet, the N, the symbol for the N is the water sign or waves, the primordial waters, right? And then if we look at the O is like the zero or the zero. Again, the nothing or the mother, the womb. So what we're even being told by the word no, a lot of us, we think of that word no and it feels like a negative word for us, right? But it is from the nothing that everything comes from. So here I want to tell you the story of the Ujat because I feel like this is the perfect timing for that story. So in ancient Kemet, Ra, what we today would call the sun god, which is also a deeper concept of consciousness itself or awareness or that aspect of creation that is reflecting, looking at creation and then taking it in and experiencing itself, right? So that is that aspect of being. So when we respect or respect something, we are re-looking at it, or when we have recognition, we are you see where these words keep bringing us back to the awareness, R-E, re, or ray, or ra. They're all talking about ra and the awareness. So Ra, the sun god, if you will, shined out into creation and towards the beginning of things. It came from the primordial waters of Nu, the primordial waters of Nu. And from those primordial waters, it shined out and it sent one of his eyes out into the reality to go on a quest so that it could know what was out there. So it went out on a quest to ask questions about reality. That is why the word quest or question has quest in it, because we send out when we have questions, it is about our quest. What is this thing? What is this reality? If we want to have a revision of reality, then and to see beyond the eyes, then we have to be on a quest and ask and formulate the right questions. So it sent his eye out. And what happened though is that eye went, after time, the eye never came back. After a while, the eye never came back. And so Ra later sent Tahuti or Jahudi or Dahudi or Thoth, or what the Greeks call Hermes, which is the wisdom faculty of creation, which we all have in us. It's the ability to have intuition beyond time, right? So it sent its consciousness out in the form of Tehuti to retrieve the eye, the Ujat, the eye of Ra. And Tehuti was able to find it. It had gotten stuck in the web of time. Stuck in the web of time. I want you to think about that word time, T-I-M-E. First off, it has I in it. Like when we say that in English culture, we say that I saw something. And those of you who know me, when I spell different, if you get a text from me or something like that, I'm going to spell I, not the letter I. I usually, if it has anything to do with seeing, I'm going to spell E-Y-E. I see you. And why the letter I and the word E-Y-E, why do they sound alike? What is being said there? So we have the letter I in time, and we also have M-E, me, which I like to say is my ego as well, right? So T-I-M-E, the word time has both I and me in it. The Ujat, the eye of Ra, got stuck in its I-ness. The Ujat got stuck in its me-ness. It forgot what it was, who it was, what it was. And many of us, if we want a revision of reality, it is time to remember what you truly are, who you are. And so if you take T-I-M-E, the T is the symbol of the cross, right? The cross, the crucifixion. So just like an aspect of God was said to have come from Yahweh, Yod-He, Wah-He, to come in the form of Yahshua, Yahoshua, or Jesus, or Jesus, and then was crucified, right? And you can look at that as the letter T. We each crucify ourselves when we get stuck in our I-ness and our me-ness, when we forget our Christness or our Buddha-ness, when we forget our divinity, when we get stuck in the web of time. And so when the Ujat was brought back by the wisdom faculty of Tehuti, and what Ra had already replaced it with another eye. So what Ra did then is he took the Ujat and he put it and placed it on his forehead, on his brow. And this is what we call the third eye today. The third eye, which helps us to see beyond the forms of just right angles and circles, but actually helps us to see full spheres of information. See, as long as we're stuck in the realm of seeing 2D squares and 2D circles and not having whole spheres of knowledge, which is the intuition, that is the ability of the third eye. And when we turn it on, most of us, we're stuck in the realm of the shapes of figuratively and literally of just things being two-dimensional or in a level of polarity. Another way to say it, to get this more simple, more succinctly, is in order to get stuck out of our I-ness and our me-ness, our two eyes, we have a third eye. Saying it again another way, and those of you who have watched quantum SEX, quantum sex, quantum SEX, if you haven't watched, check out that video I did. But if you spin in the coin, we've been told that it's a binary code, right? Heads or tails. But what has been the trick of the matrix, or the architects of the matrix, is that the coin is spinning on a third side. So it was never a binary code, because truthfully, there's a third side to the coin. The moment you introduce a third possibility into this matrix, you already just expand your consciousness immediately. If you're having, again, if you want to have revision of reality, then that is taking and putting your third eye and activating it. because instead of seeing things as left and right, female, male, Republican, Democrat, when you open the third eye right off the bat, now you've introduced a third option beyond the binary code. Aho. And yeah, so and that's huge, because those of you who have brought my book, Soul Sacred Orgasmic Living, you know that I talk about time in there and the false belief systems of TIME. I have an acronym for it: is time, intimacy, money, and energy. Our false belief systems, those things, the ways that we get stuck in our I-ness and our meanness when we crucify our divinity when it comes to time, intimacy, money, and energy, is what slows down our vibration and makes us not be able to revision, makes us not be able to change the specs on our reality. Lastly, as we close out on this, thinking about the different words for time, like say in Spanish, the word for time is tiempo. Notice how that word tiempo is like tempo, sound, the vibration that you put out. What is your vibe? Do we have a good vibe? Those are the things that are going to be able to help us to have a revision of reality. How do we use our vibe, our voice, introspection, breath, and embodiment? The reason why it's important to expand our consciousness around time is this, because it is one of the things that creates a bonsai effect in our being. So just saying 200,023 can be a way to comfortably expand our consciousness. So one of the things that I'm going to be doing on this channel on Shō HEALth in going forward this year and in the future is making sure to close out each one of these sessions on YouTube with some practical breath work for you. Again, voice, introspection, breath, and embodiment. I've used my voice to help you introspect, and now we can do some breath work to help us to embody it. Amen. So this practice that I want to do in the ancient tongue, the best translation from ancient Chinese to English is big universe, small universe. So I learned this first movement back in 2000, in the year 200,002. So breathing in and then back out. As my lady Kirti talks about contraction and expansion, right? Breathing in. One of the basic movements. This is what our lungs and hearts are doing. And out. Contracting back here to the year 2023. Expanding beyond that. 200,023. And back. The name of this exercise, as far as in the ancient Chinese tongue, from the Qigong system that it comes from, is called big universe, small universe. Breathing in. This is the never-ending story for those of you who saw that old movie from back in the 80s. How the universe expands and then it contracts. I invite you, if it feels comfortable for you, if you're not driving or something while you were listening to this, to close your eyes. Let's do 3 more together. See if you can feel your feet as you do this, the soles of your feet. Why do we call them the soles? Interesting. Soles, like the sun. Soles, like our soul. And out. Feeling your hands and your feet at the same time. Dual awareness. Out. One more. Expanding beyond 2023. Expanding, expanding, expanding out here to, we now, if it feels resonant for you, calling it the year 223. Expanding our consciousness. We are not bonsai trees. We will not be limited. Ashe. Putting your hands down slowly, slowly putting your hands down, feeling them go through like a waterfall of water back down onto your body or to your sides if you were standing. And slowly, I invite you to do this very slowly. Open your eyes. To a new version of yourself. And that's it, y'all. Again, I appreciate y'all for coming through. If you'd like to do this work further, as far as doing the revision of reality, seeing beyond the eyes, then I say check out my Patreon. On my Patreon channel, I'm going to have 3 different levels of going deeper into this, because this is just the surface. There's more work to be done. I want to do this work more. Me and my lady do it with couples and singles. I also do the work. She also does the work with the feminine or women or the womb beings. And I also do the work with singles or men. And we have a series of different workshops and stuff as well. So check down below. There's different links so you can check in on how to do this stuff with us live. And then also I have a book, Soul, Sacred, Orgasmic Living. If you want to go deeper into sex, SEX, sensual, emotional exchange, you can check out that book or reach out to me with my email. And again, y'all, in this year, 200,023, keep that XEX in your life. Keep shining, keep evolving, and do so exponentially. Oneness.